Hey guys, Alessio, hope you're well and I hope you're keeping healthy and safe. So this video you're seeing here is a two-part video about Bitcoin. And actually part two of this video, which is coming very soon, is the one many of you have been asking for. It is the video on my most bullish call, my most bullish prediction on Bitcoin ever. So that's coming very soon. But in this video, I want to actually take a step back and actually take a look at some important factors. By the way, before we start talking about Bitcoin, I just want to mention something quite quickly, which is that it seems like the lockdown is probably going to come to an end. I don't know about you or where you live, but it seems lockdown restrictions are beginning to ease at the moment. But over the last few weeks, during the lockdown period, I think pretty much all of us have been going a little bit crazy. And one of the things I've been doing over the last few weeks, just to enjoy myself and have a little bit of relaxation time, is experimenting with a few drinks. And one of my most favorite drinks of all time, probably the last 20 years, has been this drink you're seeing here. It's called Disaronno. By the way, in case you're wondering, Disaronno is not sponsoring this channel. So this video is not being sponsored by Disaronno. But the reason I'm mentioning this drink here is because it's been one of my favorites for the last decade. And just recently I found that it goes really well with orange peel, or just anything orange in it. By the way, I got the idea of putting orange in this drink from Glenn and Friends, so check them out. By the way, just let you know, I don't actually drink on my own ever. I'm actually more of a social drinker. I never keep alcohol or drinks in my home. In fact, when I was at university, one of my friends, my best friend at university, was a recovering alcoholic. And he said to me, Alessio, whatever you do, never keep alcohol in your home and never drink on your own, because that is a very easy way to become an alcoholic in the future. And I always took his advice. I never drank on my own. I never kept alcohol at the home. The only reason I've actually changed a few things the last few weeks is because, of course, because of the virus situation. And, we've all been thinking, life is short and who knows how much time we all have. So I guess I relaxed the rules a little bit and, just trying to enjoy myself a little bit during the summer period. So anyway, cheers. Anyway, let me know in the comment section what you've been doing during the lockdown period and how you've been enjoying yourself, if at all, by any chance. All right, guys, let's get back to Bitcoin. So what I want to do in this video is draw your attention to a key level I'm watching right now in regards to Bitcoin. It's a level I've mentioned many times before in the past in our previous videos. So in fact, you can notice on this chart, there's a weekly chart of Bitcoin, that once again, after a very long time, we've managed to climb above a key level. That's the blue line you see on my chart. That's a 21 weekly moving average. In case you're wondering why is that so important, because 21 weekly average is often a level, it's often an important threshold between bulls and bears, if you want to call it that. So that is a level I keep an eye on. In fact, you may remember back in 2019, I mentioned this level. And I said, you remember when Bitcoin was just skyrocketing back in 2019, I said, be careful, because very soon we're going to have a pullback to the 21 weekly average. Of course, a lot of people at the time, a lot of people last year said that's never going to happen, but it did eventually happen. Pulled back to the 21, actually went even lower than a 21 weekly average. And that eventually became a wild card scenario, as you may remember. So notice that last year we had several attempts to get above the 21 weekly, and pretty much they failed. The first one actually succeeded. It went above the 21 weekly, then rallied strongly, as you may remember, in the strong rally we had in 2019. Then after dropping below that level, it tried again in October of last year, you recall. So it went above a 21, you can see there on the chart, and then it failed. It failed to get much traction above it and dropped again. By the way, notice that several times in 2018, we tried to get above a 21 weekly average. After the crash of 2017, Bitcoin tried a few times to get above the 21 weekly and failed pretty much every single time in 2018 to get much traction, to get much strength above the 21 weekly. Again, it failed at the time. Now, notice this year in 2020, we did at the start of this year get something going. We had a bit of a rally going above the 21 weekly. That one was good for a while until eventually it failed and pretty much dropped back below the 21 weekly again. So now, right now I'm making this video in May of 2020, so you can see that Bitcoin has once again attempted to establish a rally, maybe an uptrend, above the 21 weekly average, the blue line you see on my chart. This is going to be quite important, because as long as Bitcoin can remain above the 21 weekly, there may be a chance here for Bitcoin. There may be a chance to establish an uptrend, a bull market, and potentially move towards our next higher levels. I mentioned in a previous video, you may remember a few weeks ago, that we could move towards the 12,000 levels at a minimum this year. By the way, recently I spoke to my good friend Charlie Burton, who is a great trader, and actually I asked him this question. I asked him in a webinar what he thinks could happen to Bitcoin this year, and here's how he replied.
Yeah, I think it's those highs from last year, isn't it? It's what you're talking about, that 12 to 14,000 level from the early summer of last year.
Yeah.
And I do think that's achievable. Fun enough, I was doing like you've done them as well. I was speaking, you said about, some people are a bit more optimistic, talking about 20,000. I had people talking to me saying 100,000 by the end of the year. Recently, who knows with Bitcoin?
Sorry, did someone actually say to you 100,000 by the end of the year?
Yeah. I did say I'll take the other side of that bet.
I'm just going to ask, what kind of wacky tobacco were they smoking? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, everyone has a view, and everyone has,
right.
a reason as to why, they think that markets are going to move in whatever direction. So I can't remember the analysis at that point now, but yeah, 100,000, which is quite a bold call. Like I said, I'll take the other side of that bet. I'll be the casino in that situation.
Absolutely.
But nevertheless,
Way,
I am a bull on, as you know, as we've been saying, on Bitcoin. So yeah, I'd love to see it get back up and revisit those highs that it made last year, or that zone. And I don't see any reason why it couldn't do that this year. I think that's, it's doable. We're not asking too much of it.
So as you can see there, Charlie and I are pretty much on the same wavelength. We both think that this could be potentially a good year for Bitcoin. We could move towards higher levels, perhaps to retest the highs of last year at near the 13,800, 14,000 levels. However, I don't think it's going to be easy. And the most important thing, guys, at the moment is whether Bitcoin can sustain itself above the 21 weekly average that you can see there on my chart. So far, so good. So far, we're holding above that level. So this might actually be, I actually think it is. I actually think that there's a high probability this could actually be the start of the next major uptrend, provided we could actually push through that resistance trend line there as well. Now, let me also mention that I think the current situation on Bitcoin right now could be reminiscent of what happened in 2015 as well. In 2015, after a strong bear market which lasted from 2014 to 2013, 2014, and ended pretty much in January 2015, we started a major rally. And notice the first thing we saw back in 2015 was the move on the weekly charts above the 21 weekly average. And then we came back and retested and then moved higher. So bottom line is, for me at the moment, things are looking good for Bitcoin. This could be the start of a major bull market similar to that we saw back in 2015. However, for that to be the case, then Bitcoin must not once again fail us, and it must not fall below the 21 weekly. That's going to be a very important level. Now guys, in my next video, something which many of you have been asking for is the video on my most bullish call on Bitcoin, my most bullish prediction on Bitcoin. That's coming very soon, by the way. Now, before I finish the video, let me just say a couple of things very quickly. So firstly, my good friend Charlie Burton, who I mentioned earlier, Charlie has a fantastic day trading course, a day trading program. It's a video course that you can watch, and I think it's one of the best day trading educational courses out there. So if you want to learn how to day trade the markets, that actually is probably one of the best video courses you can watch. And by the way, you can apply his tools and his methodology to Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin, Forex, stock markets, for example. So check it out. By the way, Charlie also has a discount on his educational program. All right, guys, I'm going to get back to my this Serrano on orange, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers.